If you clicked on this video, it's probably because your life doesn't look like your vision board yet and you're looking to close that gap. Which is great news because that's exactly what I'm going to help you do. So whether you've tried and failed a million times or you've had success with your vision boards in the past, but you just want to get back on track with this one, whether it's the beginning of the year or the middle of the year, I don't care. I promise you this will help. So what we're going to cover is the first of two parts. This one is all about beliefs, because until your beliefs are in alignment, and I'm not talking about the just believe in yourself more, just believe harder. I'm talking about the deeper stuff. Until those are in alignment, you're never going to actually be able to get what you want. And that's one part of the two-part puzzle. The other part is actions. And I'm going to teach you how to actually take the actions you need to achieve your goals in the next part of this video, so be sure to subscribe for that. If you're new here, my name is Sydney. I help ambitious, high-achieving people rewire what they believe is possible for themselves and build the audacity required to actually get what they want. So the purpose of this video is understanding what beliefs are actively holding you back from living the life that you want, how to actually get to the bottom of them, using a framework I call the proof stack that will help you build evidence to prove that they are no longer true for you, and then some additional beliefs you can implement into your life to maximize your chances of success. Now, these are frameworks I've tested in my own life over years of trying and failing and trying and succeeding to achieve my vision board goals. They're what I use for my coaching clients, what I've shared with thousands of people who have downloaded my workbook, so I know that they work. So if you're feeling stuck, if you're feeling like, it just feels too out of reach, I'm going to help you today. So no matter what gigantic goals you put on your vision board, no matter what you're imagining and even maybe starting to believe about what's possible for you, there's probably still a voice in your head telling you, that would be nice, but people like us don't earn money like that. But if you really wanted it so badly, it would have happened by now. But you'd always start and fail at things. Like you're not consistent enough to achieve your goals. But. Okay, so that is the voice that's currently running your life and keeping you from everything that you want. And that's exactly what we're going to uncover right now. So the first thing I want you to do is pull out your vision board if you have one, or just like look into your mental image of what does your dream life look like. Go through each section and listen to what your brain actually tells you. Once you get past it, like, oh, that'd be so great. Like, I'd love to be making $1 million a year. I'd love to be working from a beach in Bali. I'd love to be able to stay home with my kids. I'd love to like be a professional chef, whatever it is. What is the but that comes up in your head? That would be great, but I'm not the sort of person who can execute like that. But people like me don't get opportunities like that. But it just feels so far away. Like, how could I possibly get there? So the first step is writing this down. Like, what is the actual limiting belief that comes up? And you're probably like, yeah, this is obvious advice. Just wait. Because this is where people often mess up. And I've seen people get stuck in this feeling of like, okay, well, now I just need to think my way out of that. I need to do my affirmations. I need to tell myself that that's not true. And that'll change everything. And while I'm a big believer in like affirmations manifestation is like a supplement to identity and belief work, I don't think it's enough on its own. Here's the mistake that everybody makes. You can't think your way out of a limiting belief. You just can't. Your brain wants evidence. And so the most effective way to counteract these is first, we need to do your ceiling map, which I'll get to in a moment, where we uncover where these actually came from. And then second, build the proof stack, which is the framework you need to actively prove those beliefs wrong. So first up, I want you to list out all of your goals. If you don't have a notebook right now, you should probably get one out. All the ones that show up on your vision board, and try and write them out in some sort of way that you can quantify it. Like, okay, I want to make $100,000 a month. I want to have the Portion Pilates lifestyle. I want to start creating content. I want to be a coffee shop owner. I want to like XYZ thing, whatever it is. I want to start an animal shelter, whatever that looks like for you. Write out those goals. And then I want you to notice, again, those first objections that come up for you. I would love to do this, but I'm not the sort of person who follows through. That would be so great, but it just feels so far away. I don't know how to break down my goals. I would love to do that, but I'm just not consistent enough. Like, how could I possibly get there? I would love to do that, but no one's ever going to pay me more than $200 an hour. Like, that's ridiculous. So whether it's kind of like metaphorical limits of your abilities and then also like concrete limits of what you think a piece of artwork you sell could be worth or how much an hour of your time could be worth, whatever it is, this is the time to be honest. Like, you don't need to be aspirational. You don't need to be like, oh, well, it should be better. No. What is the actual belief currently? Because it's changeable. That's what we'll get to in a moment. But write down all of those beliefs as they stand right now. Like for me, for a long time, I wanted to create content on YouTube, and I'm just getting started on YouTube. I have a TikTok. I have coaching clients from there, like a whole community. But this had always been the dream. And in my head, it's like, oh, like you don't really know how that works. Like you've been wanting to do this for 10 years. If you would have done it, you would have done it by now. Like, oh, you don't have the right camera. You don't have the right this. Like, you know, all those thoughts in your head. Oh, there's enough other people saying what you're saying. Your input won't be valued. Whatever. All nonsense. So write down what yours are. Now we need to get to the bottom of where they actually came from. And this can be definitely a little bit deep and emotional, so it's not work I would take lightly, but actually understanding where that came from, because what you need to realize is that these are not facts. Your brain is treating them as facts. Maybe it's reinforced them with repeated behavior over the years, but it is not an objective fact and it can be changed, okay? So it's probably just a product of where you grew up, who raised you, the environmental, whatever you had, changeable. So now where we're at, we understand what you perceive your limits to be. Because again, you want to make $1 million a year, but you think getting above $10,000 a month, like realistically is impossible for you, like you're going to be stuck there. It doesn't matter what you do. It's going to be really hard to have the grit to keep pushing through the hard times. It's going to be really hard to see the opportunities that could get you above that because you're living in a fixed reality that's like this. So you have these limits defined. We need to get to the bottom of where they actually came from. Like when you say, I want to be able to do XYZ thing, but people like me don't get to do that. Okay, who is people like you? Who decided this as a fact that you can't do that? Who are people like you who have actually done the thing? You know what I mean? Like we actually need to just interact with these a little bit and say, wait a minute, I've always assumed that I'm not good at XYZ thing, but maybe that's because my teacher in 3rd grade told me that I would never be good at writing, so I just stopped even trying. And now I'm not that good of a writer because I never tried since then because it was so difficult to hear that feedback and it's been like a self-perpetuating loop. You know what I mean? Like there's always an origin story to the thing. Maybe you feel self-conscious about putting yourself out there online because you feel like you don't have the right look for it because your mom was always a bully about how you looked. Like that really sucks and should never be the case, but like I know for some people that's a reality. And then it's like, okay, wait a second. Maybe I don't actually not have this look. It's just that my mom was being really mean to me my whole life. Okay, hold on. So once we name it, once we understand where it came from, once we understand that this is not a natural law, this is not your fate or your destiny, this is just a product of the messaging you were given and the environment you were raised in. And that's all. And it's changeable. So we name it, we take away its power, we understand where it came from. Okay, so that's mapping our ceiling. And once we understand that, we understand where our current perception of our limits are, we can move on from that. And I know it can be tempting to be like, oh, well, I know I should be thinking bigger, so I don't really want to be honest about my limits. Again, this is not your set point. This is just where you're at right now. Until we have a baseline, we can't really improve upon it. By the way, this is the exact sort of work we do in my monthly live workshops. They're called the Dream Life Blueprint, where we help pull your dream life from fantasy into your actual reality by building you a concrete roadmap. If you're watching this in June, the next one is July 15th, but you can check the link in the bio below to see when the next one available is and come sign up because I think it's really going to be transformative for you. Okay, back to the good stuff. So now you've named the belief, you can see it more clearly. What do we actually do about it? Because I've seen so many people get stuck here and do this wrong, I've built something called the proof stack, which is a 4-step process, and I'm gonna walk you through it right now, okay? Okay, so step 1 is to name the belief precisely. Again, getting clarity. And you can start with one at a time. You don't have to fix all of your limiting beliefs at once. That is overwhelming. But first what we're gonna do, like let's say one of your limiting beliefs is around money. Like I'm never gonna have a successful business because I'm not very good with money. And like I'm always behind on the bills and I don't know where my money is and it stresses and overwhelms me. Okay, got it. Named. That's your current limiting belief. You don't think you'll be able to have the financial resources or discipline or organization required to run a successful business. Next, I want you to find one piece of evidence that already proves that wrong. It doesn't have to be a big dramatic thing, but think about one responsible financial decision you made. One thing you did was like, you know what, that was actually a good idea. Maybe you set up a tiny investment. Maybe you have a quarter collection from when you were a kid that shows you had good foresight of like collecting those valuable quarters. Whatever it is, start with just one tiny piece, because I can guarantee you there's no absolutes here. Even if you're like, oh, I'm terrible with money, you've made at least one good money decision in your life. Use that as evidence to start, okay? Next is you're gonna build what I like to call the audacity ladder, where you're gonna build 5 to 7 rungs of increasingly scary actions you can take to actively prove this belief wrong. Like maybe the first one is you actually just log into your bank account and look at the current situation instead of avoiding it. Maybe step 2 is if you have a lot of debts, you can talk to a debt consolidator who can help you work through that. Maybe step 3 is you can sign up for a financial literacy course. Maybe step 4 is you can share your experience with somebody. You know, like it depends on your situation and what you want. But the idea is make the first one really easy and approachable so you can get the ball rolling. Just one little thing you can do, one little organization thing you can have, one better spending decision you can do, whatever it looks like for you. And then build up that ladder. And then you're going to set yourself a deadline for actually completing each of those. And then finally, step 4 is the evidence log, where at the end of each day, at the end of each task, you're going to write down what you did to actively prove the old story wrong. So this is a really powerful practice because you're not just sitting there like, I'm good with money, I'm good with money, I'm good with money, like writing your lines or whatever. You've actually named what the belief is, gotten to the bottom of where it came from, built out a list of progressive actions you can take to consistently prove it more and more wrong while building confidence, and you've collected evidence of this whole process. So whenever you're doubting yourself, you can look back and be like, yeah, my limiting belief is trying to say that I'm bad with money, but I have evidence of all these steps I've taken in the right direction to change that. That no longer applies to me. And you can keep going. Once you get to the top of your audacity ladder, you can build another one kind of starting from there. And before you knew it, that entire identity has been rewritten. And this has been so powerful for me and people I've worked with because it gets you out of those comfort zone in a really approachable way that actually makes an effective change. One of the women in my challenge who did this framework told me that I'm just going to read it, within the day I was focused, something I'd been missing for years, and working on my business and discovering ways to expand and finally destroy my limiting beliefs. That's exactly what we're doing here. Another person in the same challenge said, honestly, my belief all changed when I did the wrongs. I could see that what I believed to be true wasn't true. That is the proof stack working and changing your perception and your beliefs in real time. Okay, so now that we've gotten through this really practical, actionable, building your proof stack and building evidence to prove these limiting beliefs wrong, we're gonna get into some of the more woo-woo stuff, like the manifestation side of things that I also think is super valuable and I really like, because there are a few mindset shifts I think you can make that will dramatically increase your chances of success and just also make the process more fun. You know, there are so many things in our life that we can't put rhyme or reason to, that we can't control. Why not just assume things are working out in our favor? So first, I want you to take a look at your vision board, look at all the things on there, and go deeper than the initial image of the sports car or the check or whatever. What is it you're actually chasing? What is the feeling that you're looking for? Is it peace? Is it belonging? Is it excitement? Is it love? Is it community? Is it growth? I don't know if those are all feelings, but you get the point. What is the actual feeling you're chasing? Because outside, I know sometimes it's like, yeah, I just really want that specific watch, or I just really want that specific dress, or like whatever. Getting beneath that, what is the feeling that's actually going to give you? Because the more time you can spend embodying that feeling before you have it, the more your body becomes comfortable with it, the more you see opportunities to have that feeling. Because I'm a big believer that it's not just like, okay, maybe one day we get to this dream version of you. We need to look at this dream version of you, understand what they're doing, what they're thinking, how they're feeling, and see how much of that we can pull forward into our life right now. How we can change our actions before our reality matches those goals. It's kind of like a merging of the two things. This also helps activate your reticular activating system, because the more you spend time in an emotion, the more you get in touch with what it is you actually want. Even if it's like just imagining like yourself wearing the watch on your vision board and like feeling that feeling, the more you're going to notice opportunities, the more you're going to notice places of abundance, the more universe is going to actually conspire to work in your favor. I do believe that 100%. Because even if the universe is always doing all things at once, we notice what we pay attention to. And so if you're paying attention to ways that the universe is going to help you achieve your goals on a fast track, what do you think you're going to see? You know what I mean? So finally, there are 3 beliefs that I want you to start embodying that I think will help you dramatically. Like I said, not just to help you fast track your goals, but just to make the process more fun, okay? So the first one is a why not me attitude. It's so easy for us to watch other people living out our dreams and be like, oh, I wish, like that'd be so nice. Like could never be me. Why not? Why not? Like maybe you weren't born in the most privileged situation. I understand we all come from different places. However, why not you? Why can't you win? Like what's the actual reason? You know what I mean? And as you're doing this work and you're changing these limiting beliefs, you'll see like there's no actual natural law that says I can't achieve this dream. And the people that you're putting on a pedestal of like, oh, well, they've done it because they know something. They know something I don't. No, they don't. I can tell you from years and years of studying successful people, no one has any idea what they're doing. Maybe they have more specialized knowledge at their current level of success, but the people who succeed are the ones who hold on to their dream and get after it regardless of not knowing how it's going to go, regardless of not having all the answers. You figure it out along the way. And so if you're thinking, oh, that could never be me because I don't have the special knowledge, nobody does, okay? If you decide it's you, it can be you. So anytime you're seeing somebody else achieving your dream, feeling like, oh, damn, like I wish that could never be me. No, why not me? Like, oh, sick, that looks awesome. Why not me? Oh, that girl's always flying first class. Why not me? Like, that could be me. Seriously. And then that opens you up to taking the actions you need to get there. That opens you up to the possibilities. It's all just like a virtuous cycle. It costs you nothing to have this faith. Which brings me to my next point of having complete faith that the universe is conspiring to help you. Now listen, I understand bad things happen to good people all the time. I'm not justifying any of that. My point is, like, you have no control over the cosmic meaning of what's happening in your life. So whenever possible, why not just choose to assume it's there to help you? Why not choose to assume the universe is on your side? Why not choose to assume the things coming up in your path are put there for a reason and that you will be assisted in your path? Like, we can't control it. We don't know the meaning of it. Isn't it better to just assume it's here to help us instead of assuming everyone's out to get us? You may as well choose the interpretation that helps you move forward. Why not just decide it's all working out in your favor, that every step back is just useful data to move you forward, that it's happening exactly on the timeline that it's supposed to? Just brings you so much more peace in the process. Like, yeah, still take your action, still exert your will on the universe, but costs you nothing to have this faith, and it brings so much more peace of mind. So finally is the belief that your dream is possible for you specifically. Because if you don't have 100% faith that you can get to where you're trying to go, there is no way you're going to work through all the difficult times and all the setbacks and all the things on your path to get there. Because why would you? And so this is why it's so important to go through these limiting beliefs, to trace them to their source, to prove that they aren't true, and to go through this journey, even though it's difficult, even though it's long, of getting to the stage where you can look at your vision board and instead of having this blocker of like, yeah, but I wish. No, okay, I see that as 100% achievable for me. I know the universe is helping me get there. I know there's no reason why it wouldn't work out for me. And so I'm going to get after it and I'm going to do what it takes. Something else I like doing here is finding examples of people who have done it and finding somebody with as close to a similar backstory to you as possible. So it's like, oh, this person who came from a similar place and had a similar upbringing achieved this goal that I want. However you can make it feel more real and tangible, it's great. But if you can just have conviction, if you can believe before your physical reality supports that evidence, you're going to have so much of a better time getting there. And that's going to help a ton with the action video, which again, I'll talk about next week. So here's where I want to leave you. If you have a vision board, you already pretty much know what you want. That's not the problem. The yeah, but standing in your way is the problem. Because no matter how hard you work, no matter how much you try, no matter how much action you put in, you're never really going to override those stories telling you what your limits are. And so what we're doing is identifying what the limits are, where they came from, and then actively building evidence to prove them wrong so you can be free on your path to chasing whatever you want. Because again, those limiting beliefs, they're not facts. They're just a product of your environment, and they can be changed at any given time. So again, if you want to come do this live with me, check the bio for the next workshop. It's going to be a ton of fun and we'll make some huge progress to help you get closer towards your goals. But I'll leave you here. Let me know in the comments if this was helpful, if there's any beliefs that came up that you'd like help working through, and be sure to subscribe because I'll be back next week with the part 2, which is all about taking action. Have a great day. Go chase those goals.